Alright, so here I have a match as Zyra. How do I lock it onto myself? League of Replays has updated to spectator mode, or at least I think this might be the beta of it. So I'm trying it out. I was on the public beta servers for League. Here, let me just lock that onto my champion for a little bit. I was on the public beta League servers because I wanted to try out Zyra, see how she is. And that way I can hold my little title of I've played every League champion without actually having to use any IP or RP on my main account. And, oh god, I already missed something important. And look, the backspace works just like on normal spectator mode, so looks like he just made the mistake of trying to fight, and then Gangplank must just flash in and parley, and then just finish him off with Ignite. Yeah. So, that's a good first blood, and there's two middle. I don't know why. Oh, because Annie was just lagging. Okay. I distinctly remembered not having two middle for the match. But, I don't know, that was weird. Karthus might say something about it. Oh, yeah, he was complaining about it. So, you know, whatever. And this is my very first time as Zyra, so it's going to be a little painful to watch. If you understand how Zyra works, and you like her, and you've already played her, and you're already, you know, kind of good, it's going to be a little painful at first. So, Lee Sin walks in, and I have no idea what my Q did. So, there's me missing my Q miserably. And what Zyra's Q does, and I'll read the name of it. Oh, no, not direct to camera. Deadly Bloom. Basically, if you know Brand's little spell that he puts down on the ground and then the fire shoots up, it's basically just like that. She puts down a little her Deadly Bloom in a little circular area, and then after like half a second or so, it shoots up thorns, and those do damage. If you have Riley's, obviously, then it'll slow them, etc. And her basic attacks have pretty good range. I think I can check that. She has 575 range, so that's more than your typical like 80 carries range. Swain's updated range is only 500. But I know there's like champions with say like 625, so it's not like some outrageous amount of range, but it's pretty good. So hopefully, once you get good at last hitting with her, which I was not, I had no idea what I was doing. You'll probably be able to keep your farm up pretty well in mid lane with just basic attacks, not even worrying about your not even having to use your Q to farm. But if you get blue buff, then you should use your Q. And the reason that I'm top instead of middle is because I got into the lobby and I was like, oh, I'll go mid as Zyra first time, and then like 10 seconds later, Karthus just clicks Karthus auto locks, and boom, he's like, I'm going mid, and I'm like, sweet. So I get to go top with the Xin Shao, who's not that bad. Alright. So, boring farm stuff, I can always go back. Lee Sin's coming back to lane. Zyra versus Karthus. I don't know how the matchup's going to be in all matches, but this one seems to be pretty even, except he's just low on mana because he's probably been using his E too much. His Defile. Oh, I'm stuck at good like 15 frames. That's pretty special. But anyway, I should probably explain all of her abilities now. Her W puts down a little like bulb, like a little plant, that thing right there. And when a spell hits it, one of her own spells hits it, it turns into a little plant creature like that. And it does damage, or it could slow them if you hit it with your E. And what her E does is it snares them in place, and it shoots out a little, it shoots out in a line, and it snares everything in that path. So basically, during team fights, you're probably going to want to snare them with your E, and then shoot up a Q, and then once you have your ulti, you're going to want to put your ulti around as many of them as you can, because it does a lot of damage, and it has pretty good like range with how many people it can hit at once. Annie ended up going bottom. I don't know if I pointed that out. After she reconnected, she started going bottom, and she's now 2-0 because our Shyvana is, well, she doesn't seem like the greatest player, but it's alright. In public beta, good things don't generally happen with matchmaking. Yeah, see? She doesn't buy boots. I don't know if she ever buys boots this match either. I made fun of her a lot for it. As you can see there, I'm just trying to poke with my basic attacks, trying to get a good feel for the range of them. And they jump on me pretty hard. She's definitely very squishy. And now I can explain her passive. When she dies, you press any of her abilities, and then you can shoot out a little thing like that. And it does true damage, so that means that if they're building up a lot of magic resist to counter you, your passive will still be able to probably finish them off if they're as low as, say, Gangplank is this early on. And then later on, it does a pretty good amount of damage, somewhere between like 400, 500. It seems to me like her Q's cooldown is about 6 or 7 seconds, at least when I checked it, it was not too bad with Ionian boots. She'd probably have it down to about like 5 seconds by the time she's level 18, if it lowers the cooldown. I'm not sure if it does with level ups. So basically against Karthus, she has a pretty good advantage. Right there she turret dove and she just couldn't finish him off. Because Karthus has to poke with his Qs, so as long as you can dodge his Q, or at least stand near minions so that it doesn't do full damage on you, you can poke him way harder with your Q, because it doesn't matter how many people it hits, it does the same amount of damage to all of them. Now, of course, his Q comes back faster than Zyra's, but... See, that wasn't that much damage, but then, again, I'm only level 4. My only ability power is my Doran's Ring. I don't have, like, runes or masteries for her at all. Well, I have a mastery page. I don't have like runes or anything built up for ability power. I don't even have a full rune page on this. I just wanted to jump into a match without worrying too much about that. Probably have some like AD runes from when I was playing Jace. Back when he was all the hype or whatever. And we have Gangplank camping mid. Gangplank goes pretty positive this match. So luckily it's not like the enemy bottom lane gets completely fed. Just off of Shyvana. And then, again, there's my basic attack. And pretty soon I'll have my ultimate, so I'll be able to show that off. Xin Zhao already has his ultimate, so we have a pretty nice advantage in this lane. And Xin Zhao has also been updated this patch. I think you can already see Xin Zhao's updates, though, in the normal league. There's my epic double kill, mainly basic attacks. And another thing that I should probably explain about the little bulbs, right here, and it just faded from this spot. What they'll do is that if an enemy walks into them, you can see them for like 2 seconds, I think it is. And it's just like if they walked into a Teemo shroom, they don't get the little eyeballs above their head, but you can see them on the map. The bulbs last for only like 30 seconds, but they don't cost any mana. They just cost bulbs from Zyra's like passively stacking bulb count. And it's just like how the Teemo shrooms or the Corky rockets stack. Just over time, you just get more. She can have up to 2. She can have like up to 2 in her, not really inventory, but she can hold 2 at a time, and she can place down 4 at a time. At least for now. That's probably a mechanic that's not going to change much. Maybe how fast you get them back is going to change. It's every like 15 seconds at level 1. I'm pretty sure. Let's see, I can probably check that. Yeah, it lasts 30 seconds. If they step on it, they're revealed for 2 seconds, but the seed gets destroyed. That's pretty important to note too. Now, Karthus is trying to get away from Annie. And then Gangplank saves his life and gets the kill on Annie. Oh, maybe not. And that Karthus is really an idiot. I don't think that guy knows how to play Karthus. I think he just bought him to play him on a public beta thing where he's basically free. Gangplank must be killing himself right now. They didn't say anything about it in the chat except maybe like raging at each other, so I don't really remember things like that. I just remember trying not to get completely murdered. Because this is on the public beta testy things, on these servers, the skill level is obviously very different amongst people, whereas I play not nearly as well as like 2200 ELO people or anything like that, but I'd consider myself better than your average schmo. I'll use that as my expression. Whereas this Shyvana is kind of terrible. This Annie's probably maybe around my skill level. I don't really know. She might just be doing well because she was off of that Shyvana. Then again, these two aren't like the greatest players either. We're all just testing our champions out. None of us are really going to do fantastic. Except this Gangplank is actually doing very well. He's 6-1 right now. I'm 3-1-3. Xin Shao's 3-0. Then Karthus and Shyvana aren't managing the kills. Shyvana's build right now is just a phage. I find her so interesting. Oh, actually, Gangplank. Yeah. I missed that kill, I'm sorry. But, I mean, it was pretty obvious. Gangplank just walked in, maybe a couple basic attacks and parleys, and now he's going to just crush him. People really underestimate how much Gangplank can do when he has all that AD. Actually, it's just a pickaxe. Oh, and the crit. So he's probably going for Infinity Edge. I didn't, like, memorize my team's builds or anything. All I know is Shyvana goes Phage, Giant's Belt. And I don't know if she gets anything else by the end of the match. Okay, so now we have a nice little fight here. They get Xin Shao. But obviously, I tried to burst them as much as I could. And it's not really enough because they're both pretty tanky champions. But I did end up getting him. Oh, and then she's going to shoot off her passive. Yeah, she shoots off her passive. God. And my little brother tries to interrupt my recording. Oh, God. This is why I'm going to get a lock on my door, I swear. So I take out top turret. Nothing really interesting there. I'd test out the range of my W. So from about here, I can... Right. Oh, what was that? I guess that's the attention ping? I don't even know. That's pretty cool. I don't know that much of that spectator, honestly. I use it to watch matches, but I don't go crazy with the features. And I don't know if it's completely the same between this and the spectator mode that you'd get off of clicking one of those featured matches in actual League. This is just League replays. And now Zyra wants that card. Oh, what are you doing? Go to this. She wants him dead. He actually makes a pretty good move in avoiding those bulbs by flashing over them right as she's about to Q, avoiding her Q as well. And I get back to lane. And yeah, they try to engage. This poke doesn't really work out well for anyone because Xin Shao just completely backs up like a scared little girl. If he had engaged on that, we probably could have taken one of them out without much of a problem. But now we're actually going to have an issue, because once they jump on him, they also jump on me. And this just isn't... This was just terrible in every way. He burst me down so hard, and I didn't even expect it. But with my passive, I pick up a double kill. So... Double... Wow, okay, I don't know what that is. Wow, it said that for a really long time. Whoa, whoa, sound effects glitching out. Here, let me just master volume down even more, jeez. Okay. And obviously Gangplank's pretty good for countering her. She does a lot of burst, but he can return it and basic attack her for about equal amounts. And if she snares him, he has his W to break free of that and heal himself a little. Gangplank isn't played as often as I used to see him played. And look at that parley. Oh my god, that's 1 Q from Gangplank. He's so fed right now. This is so laggy. But this is totally good. This is, yeah, shut down right there. And there I am right here, Talvalia. I go in, we can't really get much done. I have no idea where Annie is. She's over there, but I had no idea. I thought she would go over here, so I flashed over. Big mistake on my part. I shoot off my ulti. I pick up Lee Sin with my Q. Jesus. And I figure I might as well just stay here because I know where most of them are. But she has her ulti, and I totally mess up my passive. So that just shows that you need to understand what you're doing well enough if you want to be a successful Zyra player. I wasn't paying enough attention. I generally play with my screen locked around my champion, so I wasn't quite sure where Leona was. I was panicking. I don't know how much time is on the Zyra ulti or Zyra passive. It lasts 8 seconds, and you have to wait 2 seconds before you can shoot off your skill shot for true damage. I never explained that, and I didn't know it myself. Let's see. This is about the time we're making Shyvana for not having boots because she's 0-6 and 6. I remember that score. And all of us are middle. Yeah, there I am. Okay. Zyra has a pretty good poke. Like, if there's 5 of us here, but that Zyra can just stand at her turret, move over for a second, press Q, and then back away while it pokes us. And if this Annie was better, she probably could have gotten us all with the stun instead of just Xin Xiao, but she just wanted Xin. Oof, and it's lagging right during this fight. Karthus gets off his ulti. The announcer's like beatboxing or something from the... Fraps doesn't even bring the frames down too low. And then I get killed right there. I helped to pick up Leona, but this is... I thought this was a good game right here because they just ace us. I'm like, oh, we're not going to win team fights. I don't know how much Xin Xiao really participated in that fight, and he picking us up in the end. Obviously, we could have played that better. I don't think I used my ulti, which would have done a lot of damage. There was just never really a good time to get a lot of them with it. And what is this? Exclamation points. Okay, I'm sorry. I wasn't sure what that... Oh, it doesn't go away. Okay, that's annoying. I was hoping that would leave. Wow. Yeah, the second that it messes up a little bit with Fraps, like, it's going 30 frames right now, which isn't great, but it's not terrible. Now it's down to about 20. The sound gets really distorted on this game. They start, like, repeating stuff really fast. How many times did they say double kill at one time? Where am I? I don't know what a good Zyra build should look like. I don't know if you want to build Rod of Ages on her. This Zyra built, yeah, towards Rod of Ages. I personally went more of a little bit bulkier with the, well, I guess not really bulkier. Riley's and Rod of Ages probably equal out at some point. Giant's Belt versus that AP or HP boost. But I went Riley's, and then I'm going for Death Cap next. Blasting Wand for Death Cap. I could also build plenty of other items with the Blasting Wand, but I just wanted more burst so that during fights I could just clear as many people as possible with my ulti, and if I hit a Q on them, and it would also finish off those minions faster. Zyra's a very interesting champion. Her Q resembles Brand's little circle spell, whatever it's called, I forgot, as I mentioned earlier. Her E, I'm trying to think of a good way to relate it to a champion's ability. But it's just a pretty standard skill shot, and it just snares everyone for a pretty brief amount of time. And a little fight right here. Yeah, there's 4 of them. There's my ulti. Doesn't really do much. I think that was my ulti. Nah, my ulti is down, actually. And I managed to flash away from the Lee Sin Q. And, unfortunately, Gangplank gets taken out. I take Xin Xiao out. Killing spree. I don't know how loud that is. And I have a blue buff now. I grab Lee Sin. I don't know exactly how that happened. Where's Lee Sin? Okay, let's just watch him for a second. I don't know how he dies to me at all. Like, does he just... Oh, my plant takes him out? And apparently my plant got a kill. I had no idea that happened. And now blue buff, they probably think I'm going to recall, but with the blue, I can at least try to pick up a kill on this Zyra. She's the same level as me, so all I have is the element of surprise. And if she has a bulb in the bush, I think she has the ability to see me, so I have to be careful. She starts recalling, so I immediately jump on her with an EQ and just finish her off. And I know she has her skill shot, so I just move a little bit, and she completely misses. So that ended up being pretty good, pretty in my favor. And we're up by 11 kills because we're the purple team. I never mentioned that, but I mean purple versus blue on the minimap versus our names and everything. Our health bars, whatever. For Zyra in mid lane, I think she'll be pretty with taking wraiths. She can probably steal them very easily with her Q and E. It's just going to cost some mana, obviously. It's not like Vlad where he can just Q and E, or E and then Q technically, and not have to waste any mana. And I get bursted down really hard right here. Ignites on me. I just try to get off a Q. And I just shoot off my skill shot at Zinshao to get some nice damage on him. That's just one skill shot. Then now swing card with Qs and stuff. And they're going to dive right here. And I should probably just talk a little bit more about Zyra. And then I was worried he was going to die, but she's really terrible with that skill shot. But more about like Zyra in mid lane. Her taking wraiths is probably going to be a pretty good idea when you're pushed up, because it's not very hard for her to clear him. She has very good clear speed on wraiths. And for taking blue, just throwing out the Q or throwing out the E is going to be pretty good for claiming it. It might be a bit tough with the timing, so just make sure your jungler doesn't steal it with Madrids or whatever. It's the same with using like Brand though, with his ability. This match isn't much longer, but if it was like a 40-minute match, I'd probably relate her Q to Brand's ability another 3 or 4 times, just because that's definitely the closest ability to it. And Gangplank's just gonna try to do some work here against these two. He's probably just gonna get bursted down by Annie though, yeah. And Xinshao's gonna jump on that. The other thing is that I was talking about people's like skill levels and like trying to talk as much about how these are the public beta test servers. I was talking about that a lot earlier, but I didn't mention how there was 2 versus 2 top, whereas in normal matches there will be a jungler. And for Zyra, she can definitely prevent getting too destroyed during the ganks because she has her snare, which can hit both people if they're in a line. Right here, we just take out Lee Sin. But the issue is that she doesn't have a blink like Fizz. Fizz isn't really a blink, but like Ezreal, things like that. But her Ws do act as wards. So Zyra definitely going to be one of my favorite mid champions. I went 12, 5, and 13. Hopefully you enjoyed this little match, even though it was kind of laggy and the sound got all distorted. But hopefully when Zyra comes out, I'll be able to play her in an actual match. So thanks for watching.